Hey, how's it going? I'm Geoplex, and this is a second channel in which I'm going to be posting some behind the scenes content, song walkthroughs, tutorials, gaming content, basically just whatever I feel like. If you're already a fan of my music, I hope you'll subscribe because there may be some things you're interested in here, I hope. Today we're going to be doing a walkthrough of my track Frostfire. It sounds like this. Alright, so this is our Frostfire project file. The intro, which is what we're going to start with, although I'm not going to go through the whole thing because that'll take like 10 years, but the intro sounds like this. And it's driven primarily, I would say, by this respace, which is just an edited serum patch that I had. I've also got my orchestral toms, which are from East West Storm Drum, and my piano hit, which is just a slightly distorted piano with some Valhalla Supermassive, which I like to slap on everything. It's kind of out of control, but it is a free plugin. Highly recommend it. And that was as an intro idea, it was very inspired by Temanite's song Zero, as are other parts of this song inspired by Temanite in general, as I'm sure many of you probably already know. So, other than that, we've got a couple random FX stuff. This is a ring modulation thingy that I made for our collab with Aaron Music, which I still haven't finished. Sorry about that, man. Got lots of SFX. I love this one because I think it sounds so huge and crunchy, but it's just an ice tray. It's just an ice tray that I slowed down. Put some reverb on it. It's probably Valhalla Supermassive. Yep, it is. Anyway, we've also got our TikTok. What I've gone and done is pitched each of these individually so that they're sort of in the same scale as my song. I believe some of these hits, like this one in particular, and this one, and this one, these are all from Shark Sample Pack, which you can get on Splice. And then going further ahead, for the first time in the song is this element here, which is a tonal fill, which is just some percussion. This is probably, I think, also from Shark Sample Pack. Sound like this. And I put a resonator from Synth Audio, which is just playing this chord here. It's just a fifth. And that kind of formed a basis for a lot of my transitional elements. So you hear that sound throughout the track. Jumping now into our build-up. So the two main components of this build-up are bass guitar, which is this awesome contact patch called Prime Bass, which I feel sounds fantastically juicy. Although without the FX, it sounds like this. So I absolutely crushed it. We've got some camel crushes, we've got some compression, and then just way too many EQs. All right, so coming now to the main part of our build-up is this guitar riff. And this is a retimed guitar riff that I found on Splice. And I wasn't originally going to use it, but I really enjoyed what it brought out in the track. And it went so well with my bass line. So I decided that I was going to base the track around this. So also present in the build-up, I've got this. I really like putting these in tracks lately. They're sort of cut up guitar wows. How would you describe it? And then finally, I think one of the most important things here is I've got a band pass throughout the whole intro. And this serves two purposes. I think that it creates a sort of radio effect, which is always great for building tension. And it also creates a huge release of tension where I remove the band pass as the chorus hits, which makes everything feel huge in comparison. And that's also served by a lot more reverb on my guitar, a lot more stereo width because I've got this violin, which is part of an East-West pack. One of my favorite violins, this one. So there's a couple other things going on here. Of course, we've got our bass. And this is kind of the meat of the track. It's a serum patch that I made, but it's also some noise. So that's like some LFO noise. It's like an extremely fast LFO. And then we've, of course, got our sub bass as well, which is just my Serum sub that I kind of use in everything. And this bass patch sounds like this, which is kind of middling and not very interesting. My FX chain for this thing looks something like massive high pass, this sinusoidal shaped filter, which kind of acts as like a low pass. It's being controlled by this envelope controller. It almost sounds like a ring modulator. I'm not really sure how a sinusoidal shaped filter works, but did something that I liked. And its effect becomes more pronounced once I put the distortion back on. And yep, so I've got EQ, some OTT, a disperser. If you don't have the kilohertz disperser, this is a great alternative. I think this patcher preset, either I got it online for free or it comes with FL Studio. It's a Xenofish patcher preset. Got some wider by Polyverse just to add a bit of stereo. I've got this patcher here just to do a bit of mid-side high passing. And then I've got some Soothe 2, just to tame the high end a bit. I wanted to get some of the resonance out. And just a modest EQ to cut some mids and lows and boost the high end a tiny bit. We've got some saw pads here. They're just super saws. And they serve to carry the chords in this section. And they're just super saws with lots of release and some reverb. Some Valhalla Supermassive. Moving on. Now this is a part that I like. So we've got the first instance of our super saw stack, which I should have used a layer for. I think I was just being really lazy with this track. It consists primarily of this, which is AU5's Super Saw Killer, which uses the global chaos modulators here to control coarse pitch of each oscillator. And that gives you, with no unison at all, something that sounds like it has a lot of unison. Got a piano. I always like backing my super saw stacks up with something that isn't a super saw. And like a square thingy here, which is just playing the top notes of my stack. And then this is very important, which is a mid bass, which is just a super distorted Serum preset, and then our sub as well. Altogether, our stack sounds like that, but we've also got some other stuff going on. So you may notice that our first 3 chords have this sort of like whop sound to them. And that's a product of a comb filter on my stack, which I'm controlling with an envelope controller. So this envelope controller controls this comb filter. This is M-Comb from Melda Production Audio, which is free. And I have been using this in so many things since 2019. It's pretty good. So this is tuned to, I'm not exactly sure what it is, like 240 hertz or something, which sounds really nice with this particular chord. And then there's another comb filter, which just descends for this portion of the stack, giving us some nice movement. We've got our melody, which leads into our second half of our chorus, which has a lot of super saw stabs, very rhythmic, and our big melody, which is lagging a little bit. Forgive that. But this, let's explore this lead. So this lead, I've labeled it the Sky lead because it's based on, I think it was like a tweet or something, or maybe it's from a video that Skybreak did where he was like, you want to make my lead? It's literally just LFO on the sync window with some unison square waves. And I've really enjoyed the sound ever since. Obviously, it's also got some automation here, which gives it some vibrato. Then we've also got this, which is the Ultra Saw. And that's essentially just to back up the Sky lead with a bit of width and grit. And then in true Temanite fashion, this piano to back that up as well. So And that's sort of inspired by Temanite's song Rise and Shine, which does a very similar thing with the piano that I really liked. So I think one thing that I'd like to showcase is just the other guitar riffs, which I commissioned from a guitarist to sort of match the original one that I found on Splice. So we've got this one. This one is sweet. I layered it with a bunch of stuff like this. And this is like 2 violins, another guitar, a silent patch, and also my squitar at the end. And this kind of allowed me to cheat a little bit with this melody because I wanted it to go like this. Wanted it to descend, but my guitarist hadn't played that. But you kind of can't tell because you get used to the sound being so layered. That you almost don't notice that the original guitar actually disappears. So that was a little bit of a cheat. And then we've also got our guitar riff in our sort of pseudo orchestral section, which goes. And yeah, these guitar riffs were played by Fabrice Lecourt. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize. And yeah, that's pretty much, I would say, everything important in the track. What I might just do is briefly demonstrate the very beginning, because I always think this is fun. I always save iteratively so that I've got old versions of my tracks. So I think this was the 3rd iteration here. It sounds like this. So we ended up going from that to this. Thank you for watching.